Good afternoon, everyone, and no worries. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the evening session with Dylan on Wednesday. We are here hanging out in the Shrewsbury-inspired space, and we are working on building a guest house. So, yeah, something a little bit different. Hello, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. How are you? I was trying to get my chat to reintegrate with the chat built into the game, but unfortunately,
hello there.
No such luck. It just is not cooperative. So that's okay. We're gonna chat up both sides as we usually do, rather than reintegrated with everything. But that's okay. That's where we're at, and we'll just barrel on through. Really, there's no reason for it to be one way or the other. It doesn't really matter. But it was just something I thought might be kind of nice to have everything roll together, since people see both anyways. In the meantime, the weather is perfect, because it's raining. Minecraft loves to rain. 1, 2, 3, 4. Putting in the windows. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 1 in the corner. That should work. This one can probably be a set of bricks just to emphasize the corners. No problem. Good evening, Stormy. You're watching the rain clouds roll through. Well, that's quite appropriate. Old jokes aside. So what have we got? Okay, so this one must be regular. That's the corner of a building. I guess this is just black. We're not going to put windows on this part of it just because that's the, what do you call it? We'll divide the suites, but that's the backside where people are actually going to have their sleeping space, and so you wouldn't want windows in there, even if it is a medieval type build. But we'll put windows on this side as well. What have we got? Let's start with corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 divided by 4, 16, 4. That should work. So we've got, if I do 1 window, 2 windows, 3 windows, 1, 2, 3, 4 with 1 left over. Okay, so let's go back the other way. I have extras. How many extras, though? Only 1 slot, really. I'm just going to shuffle everything down so I can get a somewhat even look. 1, 2, 3, 4. I was not very successful in getting this Twitch business to go, but I can't remember why I stopped using it in the first place, and I don't think it was because of... Oh, I remember now. The reason I stopped using it earlier on was simply because... I cannot change the duration of how long chat is on my screen, and also chat gets hidden underneath things when I do maps and so on, that sort of thing. So that wouldn't help anybody to be able to see what's going on, or chat when I have that up. 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. 1, 2, 3. Okay, guess that works. Much nicer. Alright, what have we got on this side? Got those ones. 3, 6, 7. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So let's get the next section done. We're watching the same thing, yeah. You're envying me my Minecraft weather? No! I don't like rain. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's more being lazy than anything else. For me, not liking Minecraft weather. Okay, let's get these in. I don't know what I want to do for sure on the front, like as if I'm going to go all the way up, but I do know I'm going to have a roof that meets up with the other one, so I might as well. Oh, yeah, not so effective. Okay, let's go back the other way. What I was going to say. Might as well just have it meet up in the top and then sort it out after. Okay. This one. 2, 4, 5, 6. So, yeah. I was telling... what did I do here? Oh, right, this one's wrong. I think. Yep. It's this one. I was telling Poodle in her stream, and I know Stormy was there. I was jokingly telling her, and I actually kind of mean it, that I may have to hire one of the brains on the server to do some texturing because it's not my strong suit. So everything gets built really bland and then doesn't actually get weathered or textured with other things like vines and so on and so forth. So I just figured at some point I'll just grab somebody else and get them to help me with it. Or pay them. Because Fox is very kindly keeping me in diamonds. And so I could just pay them. Because if I did it, it would either be bland like this, or you would get like semi-random zones of vines, which generally would just run off the roof and make their way down like all over. And that's pretty bland as well. But it takes practice to learn how to texture well, and some people just have a knack for it. See if DC will combine texture to change for diamonds. You'd think it's a scam, you know, from the good old Scam Russell. And I can't exactly say he's wrong. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can't exactly say he's wrong for thinking that. Okay. That one. Let's just run all around the outside and then I'll come back down and fill in the window sections. It's a touch shorter than the building across the way, but that makes sense because it's not meant to be as grand a place. I've only got 2 guest rooms in here. They're a little excessively wide and not very medieval. And I just threw in the wool as bedding. I don't want real beds in there because then if I get any escapees when I'm doing more villager breeding, then they're going to be trying to run out here and potentially find more beds and stuff like that, and that's not something that we'd like to have happen. And then on the ends, we're going to come up angular as well. I don't think a flat roof is going to work out here. So throw this up one more on all the corners, or not. Apparently, I am corner challenged today. There we go. 4, 5, 6. Oops, 5. Right. This one. But can I count? No. It's definitely, texturing is something that both Stormy and Poodle Pirate are really good at. And I think I've heard Tom is too, although he denies it rather strenuously. Is that a thing?
Hello?
Hello, Tom. Do you ever sleep, sir? 3rd shift and all? My goodness. I love having your company, but I do wonder about your health. But yes, you have an excellent taste in decorating ability. And that's partly because... Oh, haha. That wasn't even the one I wanted. Oh well, it'll do. I can try and go up the correct spot. Kind of like when I was a kid, I would cut pictures out of magazines of things I liked, or looks I wanted for my room, like for my bedroom or something like that. And then my parents would say, okay, so how are we going to make that happen? And I'd have absolutely no idea. None whatsoever. So I don't think much has changed. There, it's going to house the black roofing inside it. And then this one needs another corner. Wow. Keep forgetting to deploy wings when it's so close together. Ah, I see. Just got up to get ready for work. Okay. That's cool. I never really know with people's time zones. It feels like some people never sleep. And other people are very good at the being organized and remembering to sleep thing. In real life, that is. I honestly swear, left to my own devices, there'd be mornings I wouldn't have slept at all. Because I am dreadful at that. Once in a while, I'll be up till like 6 a.m. doing different things in a game or something, and not even realize I've been up that late. Or, more commonly, I don't tend to stay up that late, but it'll be... I've done it a few times this year where I'm approaching 4 or 4:30 because I have one more thing to myself to death. One more thing. I'm just going to do this thing. And fantastic. Fantastic ITT Tom. There we go. Combo it all up. Says he's not a decorator. He just got lucky sharing bases with Stormy and Yellow. See? There we go. Maybe learning by osmosis will work. What do you think of that? Because both of them are very good at it. I guess given that, then I need to learn how to be social so I could share, so I could negotiate base with Pirate. Just kidding. Truth be told, I'm not a very social person in game. I just yak a lot. And I'm not reliable for getting any projects done on time. So co-basing is not a wise idea. That said, I have fun, right, with people on the same server. And I like having people on the same server because it doesn't feel like it's so lonely playing Minecraft. I like Minecraft a lot, but sometimes it feels kind of empty if you're playing solo. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, okay, great. Sorry for getting quiet, that was not the intent. What have we got? Get back to bricks on this one. Part of my logic here, such limited as it is simply that if monks were taking care of a place expecting guests, then one would hope that their places offered as lodging would be in somewhat decent repair, but that still doesn't mean there isn't room for a little bit of design or texturing or mossy this or that. I mean, it's going to be really bland once I get these walls closed in. Oops. Okay, so we need ourselves a geek out. If I hadn't hidden it, that might help. Alerts, minigames. Alrighty. So the geek out we've got going is where is it here? 4 celebrities who have their own reality TV series. Actual celebs or people who became celebs as a result, I suppose. Because there's not much for actual celebs. Any real self-respecting celebrity doesn't have a reality TV series. I mean, can you imagine? Just think about it. Can you imagine, like, you know, the Harrison Ford reality TV show? Ooh. I like Harrison Ford quite a lot, but just imagining him as a reality TV show, either character or host, is a bit disconcerting. Here's a question in that vein, though. What is Kim Kardashian famous for? And the Osbournes clearly, oh shoot, why can't I remember her name now? Ozzy's wife. But she is now basically being a star for herself because she actually can do things for herself. But early on, she was a star because she was the wife of Ozzy. And Ozzy's getting weirder, or Sharon Osbourne. And Ozzy's getting weirder and weirder and weirder as his years go on.
Hello.
And they...
Hello.
Oh!
Hello.
Welcome on in. Welcome on in, Lord Snarl. Good to see you. Feel free to drop by. And do tell me what you're up to. That's cool. So the actual raider gets the pickaxe. I had never noticed that before. Fox is dropping in again. Sure. Sure. I'll join that. Maybe. Nope, apparently not. There we go. There's my bot. Go, bot, go. Alright. I guess I have to find my way out in order to sleep, right? Come on. There we are. Alright, so we've got 4 celebrities with their own reality TV series. No problem at all. The Fox is on top of things. So do tell me when you get a second what it is you were working on or doing today, Snarl. Was it racing games or was it... Oh, no, let me read the shout out. Duh. Yep. Oh, was it racing games or was it something Minecrafty? Pure curiosity is gonna say it would kill the cat, but frankly, I'm not a cat, so... That drop rate thing, I'd love to have it be coming from the bot rather than me, but unfortunately the system doesn't work that way. Naming sniffers and building a bridge for camels. Ooh! Hopefully you were more lucky than... Or not lucky, more, yeah, had better luck at your camel bridge than I did. My camel bridge in... Oh. Camel bridge... doesn't it matter whether it's this afternoon or this morning. And I still can't get words right today. My bridge was very, very janky, and I was very glad to get my camels home. Unfortunately, I only have one, but unfortunately, I can't actually ride them. I was really looking forward to getting used to that, like learning to ride a camel in Minecraft, but unfortunately, turns out I can't. And the reason I cannot is because I get motion sick in game, and a lot of things you can turn off the view bobbing and the head bobbing and stuff, and horses aren't too bad. Donkeys aren't too bad, but those camels, they really bobble their heads from side to side. And that's not something that the game has been, or has had tied into it. So I can't actually ride them after all, which is too bad. But I will say, the other part of it, camels are great, but leaving them tied up is not reliable. One needs a pen or a barn or something for them pretty quick. Because they will stretch themselves and break the leads faster than you can say Rumpelstiltskin. Funny you should mention that. We were just razzing Tom about his interior decorating skills. I find some good inspirational pictures, and then everybody says, "Hey, can you come decorate my base?" It's like, but I post one thing in Discord, and everybody thinks I'm an interior designer now. Yeah, and your problem is what? I think it's funny. He probably doesn't. Probably doesn't think it's all that funny. So we are working on a guest house that we started this morning. I'm going to need to probably slip over to the other base. Actually, I guess I have some bricks I could start with. I'm just going to be doing up the floors very similar to the main building. The guest house is not a fancy place. An upside down sniffer is even cuter? Huh. I've seen a couple people start referring to them as Snuffleupagus after the North American Sesame Street character. But I hadn't really thought of them as overly cute. Although I think my resistance to cute was not for any reason other than trying to not have Carnage Joe's aversion to their cuteness get to me too much. As in, annoy me. So if I pretend they're not that cute, and they're just sort of there, then that would be true. Actually, it might be kind of amusing at some point, just for a sheer laugh, to put together what I can of an entire zoo, where absolutely everything is either named Graham or Dinnerbone to be upside down. And You can even go with a really obvious name, like the Inverted Zoo or something. And just have it upside down. I wonder what it would take from somebody who gets motion sick or disoriented in game. It probably would not be a smart idea to do something like that, but it would be kind of an interesting adventure to try and just see how many various different creatures do respond to that sort of naming convention. Sometimes I think Tom is king of what if. What if we try this? Well, what if we try that? Well, let's experiment. It's all for science. And sometimes the more wild and outlandish the idea is, the more creative it ends up being and turns out pretty well. Okay, so now I've run myself out of cheesy bricks. Let's go back to the main base and see whether or not I've got any of them through the single smelter. I don't think I spent enough time over here to actually get them to stay, so we may end up needing to derail and work on something else in the meantime. Oh, I've got a little bit, so let's put a bit more through. And I know it won't do anything unless we're here, but better than kicking the pants. I mean, we could be working on walls, which is necessary. Oh, haha. I forgot the roofing material. That's okay. Nor did I expect to actually land on the roof. Nice. Sometimes I can't land without damage when I intend to, and then other times you can see here that I'm landing without intending to. Confusing. So we're still working on the Shrewsbury Cadbog Chronicles inspired theme, and this is the going to be the minor dining area for the halls, and it really makes no sense in the order that I'm doing the flooring because it's all the same anyways. But I figured if guests needed a place away from the main monastery section and the main church, then they may actually appreciate having a little bit of a hideaway nook in the corner for books or something, and be able to actually dine away from the monks, because of course there's the two separate dining halls, the main one with where most of the brothers will eat their dinner, and then the side one where a lot of the lay staff would eat their dinner, and some of the monks will eat with them depending on what was going on, sort of like a second dinner time. Not like second breakfast though. And I decided I'm going a bit more gut feel rather than too tightly adhering to the books, because although I'm going to be using maps and things as sketches from the books, I was trying to cross that with what's really in the map in actual Shrewsbury in England, and it's just not working out. So I figured rather than stress myself to pieces trying to force fit it, I was just going to go with it. And if I like what comes out of it, that's really the key. Sorry, not I. We. And not a royal one at that. Because you guys matter to me too. If there's something that I do that you guys go, oh heavens, please, that's awful, absolutely awful, then I have no objections to checking it or to changing things up. It helps me learn. You say that Tom is subversive. Oh, never mind. At this point, he was going to be submersive. Tom is not a submarine. In spite of all his various hats, I don't think he's a submariner. Alright. So aside from the glass, I have extra. Ooh. Aside from the glass, we've got just about all we need except for the roofing material. So I don't have the glass or the roofing material with me, which means another trip back. Oops. And I will need more of that flooring anyway, so I don't regret putting it in the smelter system, just because we've got another lodging to do after this. And if all else fails, this may devolve into a sand collection stream, simply because uh-oh. All right. simply because we're going to need some decent sized quantities of glass. Because I've decided that I'm going to go with it, as was suggested a few times, and do one of those like glass at build height things. Never done that before, so we're going to need an awful lot of scaffolding as well. Oops. And if I get the roofing materials while we're at it, we don't have to come back. Let's see if we can get Snarl to guinea pig this idea, and if it doesn't work, then I know I'm not going to waste my time with it. I wouldn't say that our fine friend Tom would do that, but I won't exactly say he wouldn't either. And yes, I know I just repeated myself. I wouldn't be surprised to hear it, at least. Alright, I wanted... Do I have Blackstone staring? Let's find out. No? One of these days I'll get around to labeling things. This is... Okay, gravel. Basalt roof might be interesting. Okay, Blackstone. Is that it? Or into the woods. Okay, so that's what I've got for Blackstone. That's fine.
Hello there.
Hey there, Mr. L. How are you today? How are you? How are things shaking for you? Ugh, I keep going to that wrong. Can I find it again? This one? Yes. There. Let's just throw these ones in here. Yep. And... Stone randomness. I shoulda, coulda, woulda, if I thought about this properly. Not left myself such a small quantity of space, but that's okay, we'll get through it. So I don't think I want the bricks? I can't recall if I wanted bricks as stairs or not. I can't remember. That's not good. Let's take who we've got because I know I can probably raid the foxes if I needed to. Just about. This one, I'll take those just in case. Alright. We'll get over there and we'll find out what we need. And I think I've got a workstation in here. What do we have? Or not. Okay. Where did I put it? Must have left it over there. Here's hoping. Oh, I see what you mean by storm clouds. Okay, this is more severe than I'd expected. Ours were just looking at big dark clouds, and we're wondering when it's just going to open up over our heads and go boom. But it sounds like you guys actually might be seeing far worse than that. This one, no. No. But I thought I used. Huh. Okay, well. That's fine. We'll just drop the box anyways. And those look like they are brick stairs. Therefore, I will need the stuff to turn into bricks and return, what's the word? Turn it into something useful. So I'm trying to... Oh, I know where I put it. I think I put it out here by the bed I was using. Hello. Yeah. There's the stone cutter. Where did the... Oh, there you are. I was like, where did the donkey just go? Feels weird flying intentionally into a zone that doesn't res in that quickly. Pup. do the things you need to do. Please do take care of yourself. Thank you very much for coming by, Lord Snarl. I really appreciate it. You've got to be awake in 4 hours, and you require sleep. You can get your dog off your foot. Depending how much your dog understands you may or may not be able to get, you may or may not be able to get a good response from the idea of them just simply staying out of the way. Or moving so you can go back and let them, or have them let you get your rest. Makes no sense. Never mind. I'll try that again when my brain works. This crazy chick is not exactly those three. Okay. And it's not Blackstone, must be Deep Slate. Those might make nice chairs, though. And I'll grab rockets while I'm over there. I know they're in the ender chest, so I can pick them up on either side. That sounds like the dog thinks that you need to develop the art of falling asleep in your chair, and I don't think that's very healthy. Okay, do I have... I said Deep Slate, right? Is that what I said? I think I said Deep Slate. Roots. Yes, that looks better. Okay. So, this stuff, where did it come from? Where did it come from? Where does it go? Oops, I don't need that many piles.
There's nothing that can stop him.
And the rest is in the box. Alright, so we're good. Now I needed Deep Slate, right? Yes, Deep Slate. Where did I put it? There it is. This, that. Might need these. There we go. Okay, so I've got panes, I've got some stairs to start with, and then I've got some polish I can turn into more. But let's grab some rockets, or I'm never going to get there successfully. And last thing I want to do is fall in the gorge. Oh, for those of you that were wondering, or few, but those of you who are puzzling with me about why I had extra golems roaming all around, which you can see I do not have any now. They're all either in the farm where they belong, or they are across the way because I can't seem to get rid of those ones. It turns out it's actually because of the fact that I was putting my boxes on the side of the building up here. Apparently on the first block corner, we're fine. But on the second block corner, it's enough to spawn a golem, which then starts to suffocate and take damage immediately because they end up with their heads in the stairs. And then they fall off the one block that's sitting there and land down here and survive and just putz around the base. I saw it happen twice, so yeah, I knew that was not very effective. Alright, let's go get that building going, at least as far as the shape goes. Oh, I could have done it one rocket. Okay. Well, now I know. Can I? Nope. Apparently not. Definitely not.
Apparently not.
I flied? No, you followed.
That seems to be about the size of my flying style lately. Okay, let's start with this one. It's all stairs. Okay, I can handle that. It's all stairs. Pardon me. You didn't see that, right? Right? Nothing happened? I might have to grab that little number in the corner. It says death counter and start a new one that updates and just counts the number of times I fell off the wall. Did she fall? Yes. I can't remember which streamer it was I was watching, but I think it might have been Griffin Prime. Who, no, it was Lena Hun, actually, I think it was. Who, there has not a redeem, but an exclamation point command that tracks how many times she falls, kind of like the number of times somebody's been blamed, and it puts a response in chat. And, yeah, Griffin Prime set it up, and apparently it's used for him to mock her every time she either fails it in a fly or falls off something. I'm going to need... The thing about crouching is you can still, when it comes to the stairs and slabs, you can still crouch yourself right off of it, which is less than ideal. So I'll just have to do one section and come back. Seriously? Seems to be a magic zone as you're headed down the row that if you don't get your block placed correctly by that point, then it doesn't know what to do with it. Whether you're supposed to be down there first or if the block is supposed to be there first. As I go and try and walk myself off the side of the building again. I'm also expecting that I'll probably have a jump scare or two from spiders or creepers. That seemed to happen during the building of the mill. I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to do with the upper levels, the inside here. I may, depending on what's going on actually, I may not even bother roofing them. I may actually just put in a little bit of a wood sort of thing and let it stay open. Not exactly the... Ugh. See what I tell you? Spiders? Zombies? Why is it the bad things spawn in threes? And it's just occurred to me too, I did not put any lighting on the inside of the building. So I actually have to do that or I'm going to have problems as I start putting the roof on. Okay, let's throw here, one there, one over there. Ah! Found the doorway. Like Peanuts, you found the doorway. Alright. Where am I going? Inside the room? Yes, inside the room. Throw one up for spawn resistance, and then should be all I need for now. Go. Each. Did I manage to make it? Yep. It's all green. It's all green for it's... Oh. I was gonna say it's all green, it's all good, as she boasts, and then suddenly it's not the case. There we go. Now I can do this roof without worrying of critters inside. Uh-huh. That's what that was for. Okay. This one goes this. There we go. Okay, so I was on the way back. Yes, got that road. Placing, as we talked about in the past, is not one of my fortes. And by the fact that this is not a schematic, because there was no real need for one, then placing is even slower. But hey, on the bright side, I did trade CJ in advance for Sneaky Pants, so I'm not sneaking right now. But when it comes appropriate for me to do so, or at least in my mind, then we've got Swift Sneak 3 on here. He was kind enough to let me buy the most effective Swift Sneak for the purposes I was looking for. And I appreciate that greatly. No, 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 no. I'd like that corner, please. There. Then that, whoa, not walk off the wall here. In that case, trick it. Yes. I just heard a double noise. Interesting. Wonder what I saw and then missed. If it's something important, Fantastic Sherlock Fox will tell me. Oh, I see. So new question for Geek Out. We're now talking 2 names of line dances. Really? Wow, that's so American and country. It kind of hurts. Because one of the things that I've learned from my mother-in-law deciding that she likes line dancing is technically you can actually line dance to just about anything. In the same way that a friend of my uncle's years ago decided that he could actually square dance cue any song. Trust me, it's not a wise decision to have that opinion. Because there are some songs that should not be dealt with that way. Okay. Like, I can't remember exactly what album it was, but I got a whole bunch of, when I was a kid, I got a whole bunch of records from from one of these square dancers that felt they could call any song they wanted, and the people could dance to anything. And it included things like a 1950s or 60s album that was sort of classics or whatever, hosted by the little, I don't know how to explain them other than the little blobby creatures that used to be the mascots for Hostess potato chips. Which I'm not sure if that's a Canadian-only brand, but it certainly is not something you would expect in the music world. I mean, same sort of thing as when you get, what do we call it? When we see branded products from, you see Rice Krispies or Frosted Flakes with Tony the Tiger or whatever, that they then put their labels on something else. And it's like, Tony's favorite music. Not great, but sure. I don't know what Tony likes for a taste in music, but it certainly isn't the same as mine. Especially when trying to dance to something. Dell gets opinionated again. Ooh, we're going to have an interesting ridge. Okay. So we will have a ridge line of slabs down the middle. Alrighty, now I know. Thanks. What do we got? Boot Scoot and Boogie. Yep, totally. I honestly think Cadillac Ranch and Boot Scoot and Boogie are the only 2 line dances most people know, simply because those are really the only 2 country line dances that Canadian kids at least ever get taught in school. However, technically, the bunny hop is also a line dance, as is the locomotion. That's all that can be done as a line dance. Basically, anyone where you've done like a conga line type of thing can be done as a line dance. Because line dances, apparently, according to some sort of American dance something or other academy or association or something, I figure apparently a line dance is any dance done in a line, which does not preclude it from having, preclude it from having people touching each other. Yes, it sounds all wrong. This is family friendly. But a bunny hop was kind of funny when I taught it to my kids years ago. I learned that I'm not as light as I used to be. You can see that. It's, you know, no, we're not getting into big conversations on that at the moment, so rest assured, no rants coming on that front. But by not being as light as I used to be, I learned the rather blunt way. Yeah, I should teach that one outside, not inside. Because teaching even the Macarena wasn't too bad. But Fantastic Shock Fox works right beneath our kitchen eating nook area. On the same, like in our basement, but that's where we've got all our stuff. And so, poor guy, on more than one occasion, has come up from the basement going, "What are you guys doing?" Why? Because all I can hear is a lot of rattling and shaking and everything's rumbling around down here. And it's like, oh, we were just doing the whatever. And he says, oh, okay, that's fine, and then leaves. But I still feel bad. And he doesn't notice when the kids are doing their thing, but he notices when I go to teach them something. So yeah, slightly embarrassing. Oh, well yes, I've written some dances, but not what do you call them, dances? Line dances, or I guess technically clogging is a type of line dance, the way we do it. But I've, yeah, that's another one where Fantastic Shock Fox was not in the basement at the time. And that was probably a wise choice on his part. But yeah. The other, actually, we discovered that long before me, though there's another portion of our house, the, what do you call it? They call it the bonus room when they build it, but it's built over your garage, so a bonus room. But we discovered that that one is not heavily reinforced either. And so when, even when my kids were bouncing around, or are bouncing around in that area, because we have it designated as their playroom, that they do rattle things that are sitting on top of the bookshelves. And we had actually gone and, our kids were never climbers on the furniture, but we did still put in some of the anchors on the shelving. And it turned out to be a really good thing, because on occasions we've had some of the more unsteady types of cheap kitsch that one would put on top of shelving, rattling around. And I've got a couple of little vases that I'm surprised they haven't broken yet, because they've got a almost spherical bottom to them with a very narrow, short but fairly narrow throat to them, I guess you could say, the tall, slim section. And they keep falling over. You just put anything in them, and they fall over. I suspect the best thing we could probably keep putting them at this age would actually probably be the flowers that my daughter brings home. Usually some sort of wildflower or something. She hasn't, even at the age she is now, late elementary school, or late primary, she still has not gotten over the let's pick a dandelion type of thing. We don't get as many of those in the house, but she'll pick them and then bundle them outside, saying they're so pretty, and they never come in the house. And then she'll find other wildflowers on our walks and stuff in areas that you can pick them, because it's like the stuff the city would normally spray weed killer on. So we're okay if she picks those ones. And yeah, she'll bring those in the house. They don't last too long, but I think maybe that's the best use for some of those little vases, which don't tend to live on the top of these bookshelves any longer, because they kept falling over too much. You assume they're crazy. Well, you're only halfway there. Maybe their mother is too. Yeah, I used to write clogging dances, and one of these days I will get back into writing some more. And the reason for that is partly because I enjoy it, partly because I probably could teach the class, or teach a class in what do you call it? I'm trying to, we call it clogging, which has nothing to do with either the wooden shoes from the Dutch or the idea of plumbing. But some people call it Appalachian Mountain Step Dance, I think is another way of looking at it. In Canada, it's got so many names that's part of the reason why it's not super popular up here, is just that up here people don't really know or recognize it all that often. So it's not a super pop or a super common type, but it's also not recognized all that often because it goes by a bunch of different names, and usually it's some format of jig. And though clogging is one of those ones that I fall into the trap of thinking, yes, you can do it to any type of music. Because the big key for me is the stompishness. So there's different sub-styles to it that help keep everything creative and colorful. But post-COVID, our senior-dominated clogging club, which was the... all the things to show up in here. Our senior-dominated clogging club had taken time off for COVID because a lot of them were in the age range that was where COVID was extra dangerous. And then then the instructor, it was usually her and her best friend, which was sort of the team. So even when the instructor got, I was going to say sciatica, but she also had plantar fasciitis. Okay, I better get rid of this guy before I get in there. Probably crawled in through the window. Oh, fiddlesticks. Come on, you, move. There. But anyways, after she got plantar fasciitis, her best friend would often do the dancing portion, just couldn't, and could walk you through some simple steps. And would also help test out brand new dances the instructor was writing. But unfortunately, the instructor ended up having health issues with her husband. Like, her husband actually had them and eventually passed away, which was actually her second husband. The first one passed away as well, so I think poor lady was probably cursed. Very, very nice lady, but cursed in a few different ways. And the resulting effect was that the club never got back together. That's the only one in our city. I never was in the physical shape to be able to do East Coast step dance, which was actually my second favorite style. And there was for a while one other club, which I don't even know if it's still running, but they were doing a lot of that sort of, how do I explain it? Across, like, those that you've seen it in North America, the East Coast step dance, I guess is best way of putting it. It's a kind of like a tamed down version of Irish, I guess, because it's a mix of Irish and Scotch and a lot of Irish and Scotch country dance mixed in. But the East Coast stuff, it just never came back. It's a bit of a shame, really. Let me get this one out of the road. Don't need that. Okay, that should be our roofing. Pretty basic looking building. It's not exactly quite like the picture, so to speak. I'll just turn that reference back on briefly and then we'll turn it off again. Live, where did I put it? References, there we go. So what we're looking at here, I'll make it big and then small, just because we don't need a million pieces. So we've got map. Oops. I'm a map. It's a map! Yes. So we're looking at doing a guest hall that was roughly... We've got our little, almost pipe-shaped, flute pipe shape, or no, yeah, flute-style shape going on for the guest house. And then we're looking at guest hall, which is sort of south of the main building in there. You can see the writing in the middle. It should say guest hall. Kind of tough to read on the screen for Twitch. So we're not horribly bad at sizing it or shape styling it. My doorway is narrow compared to what they've got, so I probably should have made it wider, but I'm okay with what we've got right now, so I'm just going to leave it. Alright, let's turn that back off again. Live. References, there we go. Don't use the references button all that, or the references scene all that much, but I probably should make a button for it. It would make life a little more simple. Yay! Alright, what else have I got out there? Rotten flesh. Nope, that can stay. I I don't mind the eyes so much because the eyes are something I won't normally go hunting for. And I get a lot of string out of the mob farm. Alright, so we've got the floors done, we've got the roof done, so should be just the glass now. I'm figuring out what to do here, which I think is going to be more glass. I want it 3 high? Sure, why not? The Geek Out new topic is literature again, 2 titles that take place during the Civil War. Ooh. I'm talking the American Civil War, so apologies to those across the pond who may be listening or playing along. Playing along at home. Yes. This one's the American Civil War they're referring to. 2 titles that take place during the American Civil War. If you're not a Civil War type reading history person, I'm not sure how well we're going to do on this one. So I'll give it a couple minutes here, and we're only 2 minutes past the top of the hour. Pardon me, the top of the hour. And then we can switch it up. Gone with the Wind, I think, maybe. Yeah. Could be. And I have reason to believe that the original, I can't remember what the book's called, but the book that Song of the South movie was based on, I believe that one was American Civil War as well. The implication of the storyline is such that the parents wanted to get their son out of the way, so they sent him up to Grandma's plantation, which was not ideal. Let me skip this one. Ah! Owl Poppins comes to the rescue, gets us 2 titles. Bing bang boom, we're done, we're out. New one. There we go. New Geek Out. Something a little bit less controversial. Aha! 2 films involving a food fight. I'm sure we can get 2. Probably can get more. First one that comes to mind for me is Hook. Good grief. Poppins is right on it tonight. Awesome. So yeah, for food fights, the only one I can think of at the top at the moment is Hook, but I'm sure there are others with food fights involved. Quite often kids movies will have a food fight in because kids seem to think food fights are funny. And if it's not food fights, sometimes movies will have food used as weaponry, so dropped on people and stuff. So I'm thinking Ernest Goes to Camp probably had a food fight in it. I can't recall whether or not Camp Nowhere with Christopher Lloyd had it. But these are all, like, I was going to say B movies and then some, but no, actually that would be insulting to B movies. Anyone else think of any food fight films? While we're at it, let's just take a quick look and see, copy paste. Where is it here? Oh. Okay. Copy. Properties. Okay. So today's question of the day on the side, kind of hard to see, but is what is worth spending more on? Here, let's just bring it down that way. What is worth spending more on in order to get the best? So there are a lot of good answers. My gut reaction, just because I had been thinking about food at the time, my gut reaction was shredded cheese, so pre-shredded cheese. Because even just about any type of artificial-based cheese, if you save a buck or a few cents here and there, you're going to get very low grade, low quality stuff, and so it's worth actually spending the money to get decent cheese. Not to make fun of American cheese, a lot of people do, but even if you're going to go with American cheese, I'm sure that that is, rather than being a category, it's probably more of a grade. Shoes and, yeah, footwear, for sure. For sure. And my experience has also been camping gear. Or outdoor gear. Things like your air mat or, what else? Things like your air mat. Not always your tent. I mean, you can do some pretty good ones, but maybe tents would be a good one on that one. Sleeping bags for sure. Because if you end up with a bad sleeping bag, you're going to be cold and wet and miserable. Sometimes you spend more to get better, get the best stuff. In our house, we've ended up actually spending more a little bit on used cars. I know it sounds funny, but sometimes to get the certain features we wanted, which usually are safety related or tech comforts, we needed to spend more on those items, and I didn't bring more than 3. Smart. Oh, but I do have more Blackstone, okay. So, for example, I mean, it's frustrating sometimes when we have to do it, but we get the slightly more expensive trim line of a vehicle because we want to actually have things like lane departure warnings. To us, that sort of thing is very helpful. There are times when it's annoying, but for the most part, it's relatively helpful. There are 3, 4. Yeah, it's fine. And then 2 blocks. Oh, it's even. 2, 4, 6, 7. No, it's odd. I need it to be even. Fine. One set will have chairs pulled in and one set won't. So this one, I'll have a chair pulled in here. And then those 3 can be out. Let's just go 1, 2, this one. Have them slightly off center. That one be over there. Just be a little different. All right. So what I mean is we've got that, or we wanted to actually be able to see what's on the audio system. And that would be a nice to have, to be able to see what's going on the audio system. Which necessitates then that we actually get a half-decent sized LCD screen, because reading things on your phone while driving is just downright dangerous. So in doing that, that makes us, look all kinds of high-end and posh and whatnot. Not intentional, but does happen that way. Oh, actually, no, I don't want the head of the thing. The head of the thing, yes. That way. But it makes us look all high-end and posh, not intentional. But we do end up with higher trims on our vehicles as a result of having these sorts of wants, I guess. So that's, you have to pay more for that, I guess, is what we're saying. But we try not to purchase new whenever we can. I think we did, one of our fairly recent vehicles was new, but that was just because that they didn't have anything used in what we needed. Our daughter knows better than to actually say anything about that, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. Son, not so much. And I am going to relish the day when I can get him back. I'm sorry, but it's true. I learned very, very quickly that one thing I have to do is not show the speedometer on my GPS on my phone, because when I do that, he comments on it. Here we go. Did I get this end? Yes. Alright, so he comments on it and says, You're speeding, Mom. You're speeding. because the GPS makes everything go red. Okay, that should do. And we can always fancy it up with sconces and whatnot. But that's not what we're here for. So that's short and sweet. Good morning! How are you doing, James? Off to work, are you? Hello! Or at work. Let me just see. My guess is probably at work. Morning break, yes, because it's 10 after... Sorry, yeah, 10 after 10. Not bad. Okay. 2, 3... Pardon me. So I just built the needs more decoration element of a guest house. Needs more doors. And probably needs more decoration in here, but they're functional. That's the guest house, which means the next piece is trying to... Oops, let me take this off now. Trying to wrap this crazy creek around... We've got a sort of a creek here, more or less. Around the back of the guest house to some extent. Doesn't have to be all that deep, but it needs to be able to fill the role of watering plants. And let's go this way. That'll do. So we've got... I'm just gonna make a beeline. I mean, why not? It's not critical to be all kinds of artistic. Nope. So it's functional, but what I'm looking for is to get the male. I'm using a name, M-E-O-L-E, and that's not accurate, but it's a medieval thing and used to be a thing. So a brook out of the back of the mill, from the mill ponds, which we're not actually doing the mill ponds, would need to be then run down this direction to go in behind the guest house, and it's going to be split off to do two sides of a farm. So we're making some progress towards our sketch. I'm going to see, do I have the sketch on the screen? Double check. Nope, I don't. Lucky you. Okay. So, having some fun with it though. I will admit, what was I reading the other day? There's something that caught my attention. But they were describing... I wish I would remember what it was. The phrase I thought was kind of amusing was they were describing a place, and they were saying that this place wasn't very good. Now, please take it with a grain of salt, because the phrase that caught my attention and made me want to chuckle was actually they were making comparisons between this place and what they were calling a third-rate Australian town. I'm not really sure what would be anything other than first-rate, but I wasn't sure after this description that I really particularly wanted to find out what a third-rate Australian town would be. Okay, so this one can start coming across. We need to split them, so I'm okay with the fact that it looks kind of tacky in the way that the meetup is working. And that it's not quite going to meet up correctly because of the split. Probably one without a pub, yes. Or one where you couldn't get any cooling whatsoever. It does imply that unintentionally imply that all Aussies like their drink and have something in common in that respect with, say, the stereotypes about the Irish. But truth is, whether one likes drink or not, pubs around the world have some of the best opportunities to showcase food. You don't have to be some sort of high-end thing that qualifies as, oh, heaven forbid, a restaurant. Pubs can have great food, great atmosphere, great places to hang out. And some of them, if they happen to be open during the day, some of these pubs would actually be quite nice places to settle in and just, you know, have a drink and spend some time. I'm just going to bring up my reference picture to see how far off. Huh. Yep, so I really blew it, but that's okay. In the sketch, I've got a fairly direct run from the mill to the abbey, so I don't think I'm going to need this second section over here to split quite this way. It actually squares off, so we can fill that. I sort of like the way this wider one was going, so I'm going to go with that styling. And just connect straight on in to take it all the way up. And then we'll fill in whatever's left. So the reference picture I'm using is a sketch from the book called The Cadfile Companion by, I can't remember who it is, somebody Whitehead, I think? Robin Whiteman. Okay, so we've got a book. Yeah, see The Cadfile Companion by Robin Whiteman. And then we've got a sketch just inside the front cover. That's where what you saw earlier. So it's not gonna be perfect, but you can see that a sketch, and yeah. Kind of hard to see on there. There we go, close enough. So that's what we're looking at for our abbey layout. But we're very, very skewed. Well, gotta have room in there somewhere for the second-rate places, right? And cooling doesn't have to be water, it doesn't have to be shade. There are plenty of other ways of doing things. And as far as I know, there's just about nowhere on the planet that doesn't have wind of some format or other. And I'm not referring to bad food or indigestion, but actual breezes. Oh, lovely. Hey, you green menace. You're far too close to what I'm trying to work on. I have not looked underneath to see if we've got ourselves a cave. I was talking about doing that earlier and opted not to because it was far too cheaty. So just looking at the mill here to see what we've got as a possibility. Okay. So I can close up this section that we're not using. Let's go that way. Yeah. So the sketch I'm using from the book that you saw there is going to reference a little bit of what we're up to. And at this south end, we're actually looking at splitting as we come around from this section here and going probably double wide, I think, again, down an entire length of field. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we've got a border, it's 10 and 11. There we go. And then it just rockets down that direction. I'm going to take this one. Oops, let me try this again. Like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 11, which means I now need the creek to go double, and then this way. There we go. That's a bit better. Then we go down twice as much this direction. 2, 4, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then do I want a gap? A gap. I'm in a 2s mood today. So we're gonna have another gap. 11 again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Uh-oh. 8, 9, 10, 11. Taking a look at my reference picture and see how I'm doing here. which I've just promptly closed. Smart. FMRT. That's okay. It doesn't stick out beyond the Abbey building itself, so I'm okay. It still gives us space to, down in this section, move down to a herb workshop, so I can put the fields through here, and then we still have room for the lodge for the abbot up that direction, so that's reasonable. Alright, so what I'm going to do is actually just line out the field itself. So 1, 2, 3. I just use a standard Minecraft look. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then one at the other side. I'm just going to double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Just runs down this way, and there should be 3 of these plots. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then a border. So if I did it right the way I want to, there should be 3 of these spaces with the 2 in the middle. 1, 2. These ones that I'm actually just path blocking at the moment, I will put some sort of border into it in the ground, just for being able to put in different crops and stuff. And the logic would be something along the lines of their roots not matching up. And I did that way too long. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yeah, this shouldn't be there. We need to go a little further. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back along this way. I already have wheat farms, so I think I'm going to do just simply, I guess I shouldn't put some wheat in here for the bread purposes, but I'm thinking potatoes, and I have a carrot farm that's actually doing fairly well, so I might just do potatoes and beets, or I might even split the center one for beets and carrots. But in the look, the way the map would have it be, is we would not end up being watering from the outside, we'd be watering from the center, and I'm fairly certain this will not work for Minecraft purposes. They won't reach very far, so I'll probably still need to do the Minecraft fake it out thing. As much as I would love to, I really would actually like to see, I'm probably going to put a carpet in the middle, I think. Think you can put a carpet over water? We'll find out. Where is my reference picture? Actually, if I'm looking at a picture you guys can't see, there's probably not much point in me using the digital version, but that's okay. Caves are cheaty. Caves are cheaty? Not exactly what I was trying to get at, but not having my free cam prevented from just snapping into a cave and going right through the floor, right through the ground, that's cheaty. Right? So my example being that if block collision is enabled, I shouldn't be able to do this. But because it is not enabled, I can do that. So if I want to, I can also go down through the ground. That's the cheaty part. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh! So we have a mill race that goes actually right down. Okay. And I have abbey pools I need to put in. Which would end up having fish and such. Okay. Actually be side by side. So they're actually suggesting in the sketch I do this differently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thinking, do we actually have 5 growable products in Minecraft, or is it only 4? We've got carrots, we've got potatoes, we've got beets, we've got wheat, And that's about it, right? Okay, that's fine. So what I'm going to do then, other than melons, right? Haha. Tom, you are a genius. You and James have just solved my problem. You've just solved my problem. And actually, leaves would be even better than the carpet in the first place. Because what I was thinking of doing is, the sketch I've got has 5 different crops, even though it actually sort of like tapers off and just keeps on going till it just starts running down. The mill race just goes down this side. It keeps on like spreading out wherever it wants to go after that. And I was thinking if I did 4 different products, so we've got, say, carrots and beets and potatoes, and then I can put sweet berries in one of these runs and melons in the other one, rather than actually having to dig up the whole thing. Or I can put pumpkins in one, sweet berries in another, and melons in one here, so that I can actually have another gap with another spot. And then here we just keep on, we do one more field and let the water run down the hill. So you guys solved my problem. Fantastic. They don't need farmland. No, I do follow that. But the look of it means that I don't have to worry about the fact that it's a double wide strip. Oops. Yeah, that's just going to run down the side. Okay. And this one I'm going to figure out where the water goes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm just going to mark in for that one, so I know where it goes. There. That'll actually work really, really well. Well, I mean, Tom suggested the melons, and James suggested the berries, so I think that's a great trade. And I don't need the melons at all, which gives me a wonderful opportunity to say, yes, I'm growing melons, but also to go ahead and destroy the automatic melon farm that I have absolutely zero use for anyways. So I'd say score all round. And then, I guess I'll do the sleeping first. Sleep! Do the sleeping first. I'm going to make this reference picture big, but we're not going to keep it up. I'll just bring it up as necessary. The references, sketch map. Let's make it. Yeah, so we'll bring it up briefly big, show you what I'm going to show you, and then we'll put it away again. Make it a little bit smaller than that. Okay. So, live. I really do need a button for this. I have to remember to do it. Okay, so we got the reference up. Now, the point I was going to make here is we are making progress. I'll just throw this on the right-hand side, kind of under the text. So we've got the mill on the left. And yes, I know it's underneath the geek out. Sorry about that. We've got a mill on the left, and then you've got a mill race that comes down right in behind our guest house. We've got a series of little plots. And then this one actually has more, but I'm just going to make use of the little narrow strips. And further to that, then we've got space on the side where everything just starts running down the hill, but we still retain space for the guest hall. And it says Abbey Lodging and Garden, and then there's gardens up to the top, but those will probably need us to get rid of the snow before we can do much in that direction. But I think this plot of land is actually starting to work out better than I thought. It says peas fields. Peas is actually more herbage and what we would consider like alfalfa and such. So we can maybe put some more wheat in there. I'm thinking the far right-hand one starts to go down the hill will be wheat, and then maybe the peas fields will be wheat as well. Either that, or I might actually see if I can get hold of some flowering azaleas and just simply keep them small, like use just the blocks, the flowering tops. Another option I could do, as far as stretching it out and making things look bigger, is I could also go with a whole bunch of some sort of sapling and then just throw a bunch of string on top of it so that they won't grow. So that's another opportunity as well. References. There we go. All right. I'm like quite itching to do this now. It's weird. I'm fired up and excited when I wouldn't normally be. So the lodging for the abbot is going to be up on this upper layer. So I can just stretch this out and then have it go down the hill. But we've got abbey pools at the bottom, which is interrupting the location of our herb garden and workshop, and that's probably going to go in this open space here. So I can maybe do a pool down in this section. I'm not fully sure what I want to do with it. Let's try 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, now if I'm being creative, I need assistance. If I'm just making it up as we go along, then I don't. The sketch picture, that's part of why I chose to use a sketch photo, or a sketch, is because, not a sketch, sorry, is to use a theme, is because my decisions take forever. And then some. Okay, end of the guest hall is here. I have a horrible time making decisions. No, things are really falling into place when you guys are helping out. It's actually really kind of nice. You're like underscoring part of the reason that I enjoy streaming. Yeah, okay, so then we can just have the mill race just kind of come on down this side. And that I need to lock in. Let's see. This will throw in one more row here of dirt so I can take out the next two beside it to keep this creek somewhat. I know I'm going to have no flow on the water because of the way that Minecraft only goes 8 blocks. But it's better than a kick in the pants anyway. Alright, this comes around that away and then we'll connect up there. I think, probably. And then just start flowing down the hill. So maybe I don't need this one. There's a lot more of an angle in this sketch, and I'm just going with squares because Minecraft. Fountain. Let's see. So James says he couldn't decide on a theme, which is why you have an eclectic mix of buildings for my flower farms. Honestly, you guys saw some of my streams last season where everything was generally my theme was a topic, as opposed to being a design per se. So the theme was mystery related. And so I was doing references to various different mystery characters and such. Aside from that, there was no theme at all. And so the resulting effect of that was that it was a weird conglomeration of buildings. It just sort of went all over the place. But this will just come out there probably. I'll even just take out this one and let the whole thing pour out and just see where it goes. Maybe I'll control it, maybe I won't. We'll see. Okay, so I've got a big space. This is all going to be wheat. Therefore, I might as well split it in half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oops, I can't count. That'll be an edge. Tom says, I tend to get sidetracked, so having a guide might be helpful for me. That's okay. We didn't know each other as well last season, right? So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Really? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we'll have twice as much water coming in from that side. I just needed to marker it. We're going to dig it out, parts of it anyways. But this way I can figure out roughly where the middle is to sort out the water situation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to bet here. 1, 2, 3. Nope, this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that should work. And then no more than 3 on this side. 1, 2, 3, I think. Try that, yeah. Yep, that'll work. Okay, and these ones are standard, like bog standard. The water is going to be a problem for the melons, but I think I'm actually going to do is potentially put water underneath, or I might just throw berries down the whole thing. We'll see. Yeah, I've been streaming for, oh boy, year and a half, I think, and I just didn't really do a very good job of advertising. Is not my thing. 2, 3, 4. And the thing about that is one needs to have a look or a brand or a feel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's something that you can like target your color scheme around, or that you can target your art around. 1, 2, 3, 4. And Tom has a nice unified one with regards to the lettering he uses, crossed with the fact that just about everybody knows he wears hats. So if you actually wanted to use a theme all based around like ball caps or something, then he could do so. He's got a lovely, robotic themed character that shows up in a lot of stuff, and that works well too. I haven't been able to brand successfully because I don't really feel I have a piece of that sort of style. So yeah, it's just not quite working out. Okay, so pond length. Sheesh. I guess my ponds are going to be itty bitty because I don't want to overstretch. Okay, yeah, we go for 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, sure. I'm going for 4. Now, the thing that these ponds would actually be used for in the medieval period for a monastery would be something along the lines of maybe they'd fill them with fish or some sort of like aquaculture kind of thing. And this isn't going to work well. Okay. My sketch only has 2 ponds, but one's like twice the size of the other, so I may actually just decide that I'm going to put them alongside these other ones and make them deeper at the points where I can. We've got 4. Make this one a 5. 1, 2, 3. I think I just went a little overboard when I was cutting. I think it's probably all that is. Yeah. There, that way we can get more of the herb garden and stuff in the back. The herb garden, as I said, I would probably use something simple. Oops, I'm filling it in. That's dumb. Something simple like trees, I think. Might be an easy one. Are they going to represent actual herbs? No, not at all. Squirrel mode! Yeah, I say I hate squirreling. I really do. And I have a redeem for people to use the squirrel noise on me. But it's the reality of when we play this game. Exactly. So like single dark oak saplings might stand for something. I've had people tell me that the birch saplings look a little bit like celery. So that's an option as well. Alright, so I think it's water time. And I think the first thing I should probably do is move my temporary water over on this side. Otherwise, I will be digging and running back and forth for more water over and over and over and over. And did I even bring... Next, I have to see if I could figure out if I even brought buckets. Well, birch, what I'm thinking about any of the saplings, what would be the ones that are likely to grow on me, is I might be able to just float a string above them, and then there's something in the way so they won't actually grow. because they all seem to require a single block of wood. I might end up with some sort of weird random hedge. Yum, 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 yum. Let's see. James says I should eat. Yes, agreed. Thankfully, Snaky Pants doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you're going to walk because you're hungry. I'm looking for buckets. Did I bring buckets? Nope. I bucked that trend, and I did not bring buckets. Okay. How many do I have hiding in here? And the answer is 0! Okay, buckets time! Kind of neat, actually, as a complete derailment. Squirrel! But you can see I've got the four different types of, not the four, but 4 different types of trees here. And a weird looking mangrove, maybe just didn't spawn in properly. Anyway, but it's kind of neat when I chop them down because I chop down one, then I move over to another one that's grown, after putting sapling of course, and then the next and so on. But these 4, I can usually get a relatively decent cycle going between those and running and grabbing some wool from the wool farm to dump in the storage on this side. And then I come back with the door, and usually at least one of those ones is grown again. So it's actually kind of a fun, relaxing activity when I'm watching, say, Dadcraft. But I keep thinking that I really should derail and get working on the wall, because that's one that stops me. Okay, actually, let's just grab a bunch. 10 ought to do it, sure. I'll go with 10 buckets. Don't really need that much, but it will work. So we're going to need to have ourselves a sand gathering stream. How does the wall stop me? Here comes a reference. Yay! More references! Don't worry, won't be on forever. Okay, references. Sketch mat off. Major sketch map on. Oops. Doesn't help if I actually don't grab the edge and stretch it properly. Let's just show you the full. Okay, so what, where's live references? On, as I say, I need that reference button. Okay, so let's hide the reference to start with and pull out. You can see our island is somewhat, peninsula zone of land is somewhat the correct size. We've got our wall starting to come down the right-hand side. Now what you can't see very well from here, and I'll just zoom in a bit, you still, if you're not having issues with color blindness, you'll see we've got some red dots, which correspond to blocks of wool I've set on the ground to represent some of the roadways and pathways in the main sections inside the wall, which once those get laid out, then I can actually put in more buildings. Like these will probably stay, but they're not part of the sketch, and I'm not going to copy the sketch entirely, but I want to be able to put in more buildings for viewers. So for example, I've got some gray dots in here. Now these are little blocks that I've just laid around the outside of the place to mark where my wall is going to be, so you can start to see them coming down around the outside. And that's just a very long project. The section you see now is actually not even finished of itself, because it's only 6 blocks high roughly, and I actually want it to be 10, but I want to do all 6 because that's where I adjust the heights, and then I can come back in and just repeat the same thing following the pattern as it goes up and down. So turning the reference photo back on, what you can see there is I've got some wall sketches where it says fields and gardens and town walls and roads and such. And although mine is a different design than that, I want to be able to actually lay out some of the buildings and some of the roads in a somewhat similar fashion, sort of. But the reason there's a gap between the square-edged walls and the buildings themselves is because that's a roadway. And I can't exactly put in a roadway if I don't have my wall complete, because I'm not fully certain where things are going to fall in terms of how the bends actually work out. when I go in to put the wall. And then that would also mean that I would probably be redoing the pathing a fair bit that would run along the inside of the wall. So yeah, that's why it's kind of holding me back. Now, interestingly enough, you'll see to the northwest section top, just underneath the latest follower part, there's a road that goes out and away to a village called Frankwell. I got lucky because you can see there's a red line that sneaks off into the trees right now, and I haven't done anything with it beyond that. But I got lucky, and I got rid of the village I had down on this side. It just hasn't all turned green for some reason I don't know. But going the opposite way to the northwest, I lucked out and I have another village, which seems to work for my purposes because it has a nice little ending of its road. Let me just take this off. References, there we go. So we can see, here's the main structure, and we've got the road coming down. We've got the greys we talked about. Then off to the northwest here, we've got more of the red path that sneaks out and sort of ends just south of the white snow section. The trees, and I haven't done anything with that, but it just so happens I ended up with a village to the northwest. So this shall be my, what was marked on that sketch map as Frankwell, another smaller village outside the town. So I'm going to leave it as is, take the end of its road, and just snake it, oh, I shouldn't say snake, go for a rather direct run through the trees to connect it with what you see as the red dots, and that will work its way into the village. So that's part of what's holding me back, because I want to get the monastery zone done, because that gives the place some life. And then after that, life is all a relative term. And then after that, we can actually start putting in, like once I get that section done, we can actually start putting in more things, like a proper tree chopping zone, or a, set of maybe houses redeemed from viewers, and you can have as many as you like, and so on, and we'll slowly fill this place up and give it much more life. I can also do, at that point, I can also do more terraforming to fill in really low sections, like this flat one here, because I know there's a cavern beneath that I've capped off. But until I figured out where the wall was post the capping, I didn't know how big or how level I'd want everything. And some of it I can make use of the hills, and some of it will be difficult, so there's a lot to do. A lot to do. Okay. Oh, is it raining? Nope, not raining. Alright, so what did I come back? Oh, right. I came back to dump things. But yeah, for those of you that are into like historical fiction and mystery, then I really recommend that series, the Brother Cadfael Chronicles. It's not everybody's cup of tea, and it can get a little religious on you if that's not your cup of tea either. I quite like it, but that's just because it comes across in a way that I find I can easily logic away, as in it's a bit of its time. There we go. Rather than getting my nose all wound up in whether or not that I agreed with the sentiment or the conversation content. Let's put that up there. I'm just looking for spaces that make somewhat sense to put away stuffs. Guess I'll put the glass over here. And I'm going to need the hoe. I think we're good. How did I? Rain, you stink. So, according to the little tiny clock beneath the mini-map, we have just over half an hour earlier when it's raining compared to when it's not raining, for when it will actually let me sleep. The groan and pause you heard partway through my description, we are on the ground level. Here are two librarians hanging out in the warming rooms of the building. However, these are the only librarians. So I had over 20. What I think I'm probably going to do, I'm able to keep my villagers in the castle. They seem to stick around just fine, and I can have them free range, etc. So then I think what I'm probably going to do is actually turn this large building that was going to be more storage into the library house and breed up some more villagers and just do things over there. If they stay, I spend enough time over here that everybody stays. But these guys, like seriously, I had more than 20. They might be. Yeah, I think that the other part is they could be getting... I had a real hard time with some of these stairwells. So there's probably places that they're falling off stuff or doing dumb things like walking into things. I would not be surprised in the slightest. But now that I'm down to 2, it's a little bit more than I'm willing to take. I mean, at one point I wondered if it was partly the weather, but every time I get thunder and lightning or anything like that, I try to sleep it off as quickly as I can, so it's unlikely that's the case. And they shouldn't be able to die from, like, just jumping off a lectern. So I need to do a little bit of cleanup in here to take out the lecterns. And I had a cleric at some point, see? I had a cleric. But, yeah, I don't know where these guys are going. We have upstairs, so maybe they're falling... Oh. Bet you they're falling off this. No. It's becoming irrelevant. So they were a whole host of them sleeping in here, and I had almost all of this actually taken up. So probably down to a good 3/4 of it, maybe, was all the librarians. And yeah, it's probably that set of stairs. They probably are just literally passing themselves right off this. Bonk. And you do that enough times, you're toast. Hello. Oh, and I can't even do that because there's nothing to support it. Okay. So that's probably how they're killing themselves. But in any case, we're down to 2. And it's a bit of a pain in the neck when I've got all the other trading on the far side, including the iron farm. So it might be smarter for me just to keep that stuff in there as a, or some of it as a look, and go with the limited posability of vanilla, what do you call them? Armor stands. Yes, that's the word. So 5 minutes, which means that what I'm actually going to do is just start up not worrying about that and worry about the water instead. Do I have a space I can put extra scaffolding? I have places, but let's put it up here for now. And I'll just get started on moving the water, and then we'll leave it for today because that's really the easy part. And we can come back and do planting up and so forth. So, see, the brilliance of you guys astounds me sometimes, as does the thickness of me, but that's okay. I'll have to check the other stairwell as well. There weren't any villagers assigned to the beds on the other side, so that's okay. Getting those up. But I'll have to check both sides. And you're right, it probably is that. And I really want to say thank you if that really is the case, because then I don't have to try and kite another villager across. Although by the time I figure it out... Yep. But the other thing is I can't stop the golems in here at the moment. I like the look of the flooring, and I may consider going up half a block. But it's awfully thick. I don't really want to lose the look of the stone floor. So we'll just have to see where that goes. But being as it's a Wednesday, let me just double check and see if our fine bird has intent. Oh, wrong window. That just sounds wrong when I say it that way. Our fine bird has intent. Intent to what? Nope, it's not. That's not Tuesday. Okay, what do we have? Wednesdays usually the hardcore co-op was zeroed from either Zeroed or Leroy Tankin's point of view. That's probably our best bet for us to head out towards. Now, where was I going with this? Oh. Now, I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, but something that Leroy said the other day made me wonder, because it sounded like he was saying this is our last hardcore world. I'm not fully sure what he means by that, but it could be that he and Zeroed are deciding that they're just not going to do this anymore. I'm not sure. But if that's the case, then we don't want anybody to miss out on the opportunity to see those guys and their awesome goofiness. And I will science that up for you, James, and see whether or not blocking the silly zone is the solution to the problem. And if it is, I shall report back tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be your time zone or not. In the evening, I've got a Broadway production to go to. So our kids and I are going to go see Aladdin. So I'll be streaming tomorrow morning my time, but probably not, well, I should say probably, guaranteed not in the evening, just because we won't be here. Yeah, it does sound like a lot of fun. I've got season tickets to what we call Broadway Across Canada, and usually it's an interesting run. We've had some sketchy ones I wouldn't particularly recommend taking family to, or at least not kids. But when Disney's Aladdin came by, I mean, that was a bit of a no-brainer. No-brainer for me, because our family quite likes Disney shows on the whole. Okay. But it was expensive to get extra tickets, but I think it's going to be worth it. It's one of those things that I grew up with memories of going to, I shouldn't say like opera or whatever, but I had memories of going with my parents to the Philharmonic Orchestra or theater a little bit. And so I figure if I can share that experience with my kids, it's something that they might remember, even if they don't end up doing that sort of thing themselves as grown-ups. Certainly, a review can be promised. Indeed, I can do that. And then there'll be more verbal detail to be had next week. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. 10? Thank you. So, yeah. We get to see lovely Aladdin. I'm hoping the genie will be good because I've actually seen clips from the American Broadway production, and that one looked really good. And it's been interesting because I've not watched any live-action movies of that one. I was not too thrilled with the casting of Will Smith in that role. So hopefully this will be much better. And I've seen clips from as I mentioned, the Broadway crew doing their thing. But I don't know how well it's going to work for this one. So we'll just... Jury's out, right? Huzzah! Okay. So I've got something I can play around with while DC's on tonight. In Wednesday. And we will get a review going for you guys for tomorrow. And I'm going to have to make a small bridge to go over this little brook, I think. So that'll be something we can work on tomorrow as well. Alrighty-roo. Boink. There we go. We have ourselves a building. Oh, that's not exactly it's not the most photogenic side, isn't it? Oops. I can't seem to press the right buttons today. They're like 2 inches apart and I still can't press them properly. And now it's nighttime. Murphy's Law. So we got ourselves a building and we're finished that part within reason. I mean, it's got more character and we're starting with the water. So I think we've got a good run for today. It was more productive than I expected. It turned out better than I expected. So yeah, should be all good. What I recommend is that we're going to start heading out to Zeroed and Leroy for their hardcore. And my question becomes, which point of view do you prefer? Leroy's point of view or Zeroed's point of view? Both are about the same because I always suggest that everybody checks out SimulTwitch. Let me just going to fire that one up and copy my link. Simul. There it is. I have to mute the tab though. Mute tab. There we go. So I always recommend that people use this link for their layout choices, and do remember to log into your Twitch account in the corner if you can. You still get access to playing with all your points and so forth, but it's a way that you can actually help both people out, and you can get chat from each one of them on down the sides of the screen. Looking at numbers, let's try and spread the love a little bit. We can see which of them has got a lower number set on them. My thought is if we go into Zeroed's got 21 and Leroy has 17. The other side of it, though, is Leroy is not an affiliate, and he has zero intention of becoming one because he likes the whole no ads thing. So you don't have emotes to play with on that one. The flip side is that Zeroed is also a member of Dadcraft's community, so maybe I'll head over there. Yeah. I can never decide. See? I never decide, James. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna drag on into let's go into Zeroed's community, but if you do choose to use the SimulTwitch link and you're putting up only one volume, it looks really weird when Leroy's voice is out of sync, so you may want his audio. Flip a coin. We can do that, actually. Oh, nope, maybe not. Okay, how about odd? We're going to roll a dice, and odd is going to be Zeroed, and even will be Leroy. See if I can do that. Guess not. Not today, because I can't remember what my commands are. Woohoo! Actions. Commands. Oh, dice roll. Haha. That would do it. And do I have a coin one? Or a flip? Ah, there we go. You said flip a coin. Coin flip. Okay. So, heads it's Zeroed. Yeah, heads it's Zeroed. Tails is Leroy. Coin flip. Heads up. Okay, I guess we're off to Zeroed then. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So yes, there. One more time just for everybody else. I'll paste that one. And then we're going to head over to Zeroed. Get this one going. Nope, wrong screen. Oop. There we go.
Mischief managed.
So thank you to everybody who managed to come by. I wanted to say it really brightens my day, and I hope I was able to brighten yours at least a little bit. Thank you very much to Lord Snarl for his raid. I really appreciate that as well. Also, thank you for Wild E Coyote. Nice. Thank you very much for the new follow there. Also, thank you to Sherlock Fox and James for spending their clues, usually to get me to eat, which is great. Also, thank you to Fox for being my moderator, and to ITT Tom for dropping by as our VIP. And also special thanks to Stormy Owl, Lord Snarl, Owl Poppins, James Curry, and Wildy Coyote for dropping by. I do apologize for not saying hello, Coyote. I missed it, and I do owe you the next time you drop by. So hope to see you guys again. Do give Zeroed our best. I will see you on the flip side. If you have time, it'll be noon Eastern tomorrow when I'm starting. Or, James, I'd love to be able to convert for you off the top of my head, but I can't. I'll get there. I'll practice on it. So we will see you tomorrow. Have yourselves a great night, and bye-bye for now.